At home in Rwanda, President Paul Kagame's government's credited with development success. It's also accused of torturing critics and killing opponents, allegations it denies. At the African Union in Addis Ababa, where he's been chair for the last year, he's seen as effective. At this meeting, he called for investment in public health care and medicines.
We will get better results if we work together as a continent. For example, cheaper prices by negotiating and procuring as a bloc. We also have a lot to learn from each other's experiences.
During his tenure, Kagame worked to push through planned reforms of the organisation, including making it self-funding instead of relying on donors outside the continent. But many member countries are still reluctant to contribute. He did pull off a planned trimming of the AU's commission. One of the African Union's areas of relative success from the last year is a planned African Continental Free Trade Area. Most of the countries whose flags are all here signed it last year. 19 have already turned it into domestic law, and it needs 22 to take effect. South Africa, which is the continent's second largest economy, is already on board. In conflicts and crises, the AU's had a mixed year. It backed a peace deal between rebel groups and the government from Central African Republic, signed last week, although it's yet to be implemented. It's also helped to avert political crises in Madagascar and Comoros earlier last year. But it backed away from speaking out on December's disputed elections in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And it's done nothing about the conflict in Cameroon.
So we're seeing a lot of the African states, particularly the big players like Nigeria, Algeria and South Africa, they're turning inward. So unless we see more engagement from these big powers, then again, I think it's going to be difficult to see the African Union really becoming more effective on peace and security.
As African leaders gather at the AU's headquarters, they're expected to address the plight of the continent's 20 million displaced people and again discuss how to make their organisation more effective. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.